is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I kind of want to keep this comparison trend going. I did a lot of comparisons yesterday between the Galaxy S10 and all the other iPhones, and I was debating whether I was going to do the iPhone XR comparison, whether between the Galaxy S10 or the Galaxy S10e, and I figured I might as well do it against the Galaxy S10. Both of these have the same exact screen size, and even though the price is about $100, $150 difference, I figured I might as well do this one, and if you guys like this one, I'll do another one. But again, this is not a full comparison. Like, you can't buy the Galaxy S10 yet. No one really owns it. They've only seen like demo units of it, and best believe once I do get the full unit, I'm going to do a bunch of comparisons between not only all the iPhones, but all the Galaxies, all the whatever you want to see. But I don't even know what I just said there. But the iPhone XR just got released a couple months ago. The Galaxy S10 was just released yesterday or today, whenever you're watching this video, probably the day after. And I'll definitely say, in terms of the way they're built and the size, definitely they're almost around the same. I would say if the Galaxy S10 is a little bit smaller than the iPhone XR, overall is just a little bit bigger than the Galaxy S10, so kind of a little guessing game. But even though they have the same exact screen size, the Galaxy S10 does have less bezel overall, and it doesn't even have a notch. So the Galaxy, just looking at the front, the S10 wins by a landslide. It doesn't really get much better than just a bezel-less design overall, but also you have to keep in mind the Galaxy S10 has a front-facing camera, the hole punch camera if you want to call it that. So really hit or miss. I guess they never miss, huh? It's been a minute since I said that, but overall, of course, the S10 is going to win here, but the iPhone XR doesn't look ugly on the front. It does have a lot more bezel than what you would expect. And the screen resolutions, we have, this is kind of funny, a 828 by 1792 resolution on the iPhone XR and a 1440 by 3040 on the Galaxy S10, and the pixels per inch are much higher, 550 on the Galaxy S10 versus 326 on the iPhone XR. And what I'll tell you is, man, the Galaxy S10 beats it by a landslide. I don't even have to own this phone in order to tell you that. Of course, even if you own a Galaxy S8 or even a Galaxy S7 or whatever, those panels are much better than the iPhone XR panel. Surprisingly, the iPhone XR does have IP67 dust and water resistance. You can go 1 meter for up to 30 minutes, but the Galaxy S10 is a little bit better at IP68, which 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. So a little bit better on the Galaxy S10 in terms of ruggedness, but overall, the Galaxy S10 is going to be a much better device, in my opinion, than the iPhone XR, and you could probably just guess that. In terms of software, they're completely different, Android versus iOS, but there's a lot of similarities too, but I won't really go into delve deep too much into that until I actually get the unit, so stay tuned for that portion of the review. In terms of performance, this is where it's going to kind of differ a little bit. The iPhone XR had the Apple A12 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 3 gigs of RAM, where the Galaxy S10 has an Exynos 9820 octa chipset, an octa-core CPU, and 6 gigs of RAM in the domestic version, I think in the United States version, but the international version has an 8 gig of RAM option. So you're either getting twice the amount of RAM on it, or you're getting an extra 5 gigs of RAM on it, which is crazy. And overall, I'll definitely say the Galaxy S10 will be a much faster phone for now than the iPhone XR. But one thing I've noticed, and this is going to be kind of controversial, Androids, even with the Galaxies, they tend to be very fast in the beginning with, but then over time they kind of do slow down. But with iPhones, I've noticed, especially with mine, over time they don't really get too much slower, and if it's just keeping on stock. Now if you go and update to the newest firmware, all that stuff, it's going to kind of slow down a little bit. But even if you take like a 2015 iPhone and a 2015 Galaxy, I think the Galaxy S7 or S6 came out in 2015, and I definitely do think the iPhone 6s is much faster than those phones. So in terms of performance, the Galaxy S10 will be faster probably, but I do think the iPhone XR is still a respectable device in terms of performance. The cameras, this is where the Galaxy S10, I think, blows every phone right now out of the water. Well, every phone that was probably released a couple months before this. I know the Huawei phones have 3 camera sensors as well, but the iPhone XR only had one 12 megapixel sensor on the back. The Galaxy S10 has 3 cameras, 2 12 megapixel sensors, and a 16 megapixel main sensor. And I'll tell you like this, I don't want to go delve too deep because obviously no one really owns this phone yet, so I kind of have to test it further. But I will say the Galaxy S10, just based off the keynote itself and what all those spokespeople were talking about, and they were hyping this thing up like crazy, and I stand by it 100%. You can do so many new features, ultra wide panorama. They did a really good job at demonstrating how DSLR and photographers and all these people who bring all these lenses with them and everything can really simulate that same effect on a Galaxy S10. Now, it's not going to totally replace your DSLR or whatever right now, but I think they did a really good job at showing us how phones are starting to evolve more into full-on cameras and just being a little thing you just go and on a pinch you can just take photos with. And the Galaxy S10's camera looks super sick in my opinion. The front cameras are a little different as well. The iPhone XR has a 7 megapixel sensor. The Galaxy S10 has a 10 megapixel sensor. You can actually shoot 4K videos on the Galaxy S10, where you can only shoot 1080p videos on the iPhone XR on the front cameras. So a little bit of difference there, but I'll definitely say I'll give the benefit to the Galaxy S10 100%. Now, interestingly enough, here's the thing that will kind of surprise a lot of you. I think in terms of battery life, maybe, just maybe, the iPhone XR might have better battery life. Now, I will have to wait to test the Galaxy S10 and everything, but on first assumption, the iPhone XR has a very, very good battery life. The battery size is kind of still on the lower side compared to a Galaxy S10. The iPhone XR has a 2,942 mAh battery. The Galaxy S10 has a 3,400 mAh battery. And what I'll tell you is that in terms of both, the Galaxy S10 is probably still going to have really good battery life, but I definitely do think that the iPhone XR might have better battery life, man. It's kind of weird, I know. I wish the iPhone XR had a bigger battery size, but I truly do think that maybe the iPhone XR is better. But again, I'll have to test it, but I really do think these are going to be kind of close to each other right now. But one huge advantage of the Galaxy S10 is that it has backwards wireless charging, so you can charge an iPhone XR from a Galaxy S10, which is so crazy. You can't do that on an iPhone XR. You can't charge other things, but you can charge all Qi wireless charging devices from a Galaxy S10, and that is so crazy. And that just shows what's going to happen in the future, like what we're going to be capable of. And it's insane how phones are innovating right now. And the Galaxy S10 is going to go and push a lot of other phone manufacturers to start doing stuff like this too. So super excited about that. Some other things to note: the Galaxy S10 has an inbuilt fingerprint sensor in the screen, which is super sick. The iPhone XR, as we all know, does not have any fingerprint sensor, as is like any other iPhone that was released within the last year and a half. The Galaxy S10 also has a micro SD card slot, which is super sick. But you know what I'll tell you is, between both of them, I definitely do think the Samsung Galaxy S10 is a better device than the iPhone XR. It definitely has way more features, and there's really no other way to put it. I mean, the Galaxy S10 is a tremendous device, and that's coming from an iPhone user. I use iPhone everything. All my products I use on a main day-to-day basis are all Apple MacBooks, Apple Watches, but I have a lot of love for Samsung right now, and they're going to push Apple and all these other phone manufacturers to start doing other crazier things. So much love to Samsung. That's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button. That'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I would really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Turn down for what?